In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how using a limited palette is a really exciting way of painting. It keeps things really simple. So by just choosing two colours, I've chosen cadmium yellow, cobalt blue, and white and black. So the limited palette is really these two colours, and I'm using these two to modify them, if you like. And by doing this, one, you learn a lot about colour mixing because you've got very little choice in terms of what colours you have to mix. So you don't end up with a palette full of different colours and think, oh, what do I do? So you learn about those specific colours, which is a really useful exercise. Now, these two colours can be anything. You can choose whatever two colours you want. I've chosen yellow and blue. Those are only two of the three primaries. And as you know, to mix all the colours, you need all three. So it would be handy to have red here. But the exercise is just two colours, black and white. So let's get going. I'm going to just start by playing around and mixing up these colours. Now, you can get lots and lots of colours from this mix, if you like. You can really find lots and lots of colours. I just add a little black to that yellow and I've got quite a dark olive green. So you don't need blue always to get green. And I'm going to choose a different brush. I've put some water on that and I'm just going to get some colour. It's quite a thin wash really I've got here. It's almost like watercolour. I've also put some tape around this watercolour paper just to keep things tidy, and hopefully the paint won't bleed through. I've got my trusty kitchen spatula. I think you'd call it a baking spatula or something in the US. I know I've got lots of US followers, so lovely for you to come. Also from all over the world, you know, Canada, New Zealand, France, Spain, the Netherlands, all over. So if I've forgotten your country, left it out, I'm sorry, but I know you're there, I promise. And of course from the UK, because I am from the UK. So I'm kind of thinking about a landscape. So again, I'm just being very rough. So I can use colour like that, white like that, just as I want to. It can just be plain white. I could use plain black if I wanted to. Everybody gets this, well, not everybody, but lots of people get this information from tutors that you should never use black, and it's, oh my goodness, you shouldn't use black. Total rubbish, I think. I think you can use whatever you like. This is your painting, and I think you should break the rules. Anyway, lots of great painters have used black. I mean, Hockney uses black, I think. Velasquez used black. Lots of them. Okay, so the other key to mixing is sort of keeping your colours clean. So I tend to use lots of different brushes for different mixes of colour. I'm going to put a little bit of... I don't often use black, as some of you know who watch this channel regularly. I love raw umber, but I didn't want to use raw umber as one of my two colours. I thought it might be too restricting. Maybe I could try sometime, you never know, it might be quite interesting. So I'm just going to start painting, guys. Just start painting and see what happens. Shouldn't say guys, really, should I? So let's get going. I'm going to use the blue to make a different shade of green. Get that in. Oops, that was a nice little... I quite like it when you get different colours on either your brush or your palette knife or whatever, because it just makes for really interesting marks. Let's make that lighter, more yellowy, I should say. Quite like the yellowy. And then let's go really dark. So if I get lots of that blue in, that might make it a bit too Ooh, a bit too, I want a sort of, well, that's just I was thinking ferny colours. I also like, I think as some of you know, wet in wet painting. I think that's a lovely thing to do. Just mixing some yellow in with the white. So I put a tiny bit of black in there. You only need a tiny bit of black to make a big difference in a colour. So I'm going steady with that. That's made quite a nice colour. I'm not sure what colour you'd call that, but I'm just going to put some of that in. I want to have a sort of a distant feeling, and I'm going to get that by using blue, white and black. That's too much blue, I think. Maybe I'll get it whiter. That might work. I noticed I've got a grey double yellow on the back and I don't want to get that in. So let's just get rid of that. I don't want that. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a nice cloud going on there. Now this paper has a texture to it which I don't particularly like, so I'm going to have to put the paint on quite thick so that doesn't show through. Right, let's get some more. Right, I like that mark there, so I don't want to lose that, so let's just go like that. See that texture coming through? It's a bit annoying. It'll be easy to get rid of with a brush. So let's, oh, what am I doing, Lynn? What am I doing? Come on. Let's get that really big brush. I quite like using big brushes because if you use a big brush, you see that immediately goes away, doesn't it? If you use a big brush, you can't fiddle around too much, can you? I mean, it's to do detail, you know, because watch that yellow again. So I've got rid of my blue sky, or some of it, most of it in fact, but not all of it. Going right up to the edges because I know that I've got that, oh I quite like that bit of white there. I'm wary of this because I don't want to lose it and I don't want to mix it in, so I'm going to sort of scout around that for a bit. Quite like that effect that I've got there. I'm going to use a really thin brush here. I don't know if that's actually thin enough. I have a rigger brush somewhere. That's that really, really thin one and I can't see it. So I'm just going to have to make do, I think, with this one. And I'm going to mix some black with blue to get a really dark colour, but I don't want it to be black. And I just want to get some lines in here, and it's because it's all black, wet in wet. It's just coming out as green. How does that work? Okay, let's not worry too much about that, because what you can see here are some really interesting marks that we're getting, which I quite like. So I'm just going to play around now a bit with this. It feels to me, painting with this selection of colours, quite restrictive because it feels to me like it needs more warmth in, and that's the warmest colour I've got. Really, the yellow. So if I don't know what happens if I put just pale. Let's do that with just neat yellow in like that. Don't like that, so let's fiddle around with that now. Get some dark in at the bottom there. That's too blue. Don't want blues. I don't want just blue in. That's just not going to work. But I do want those dark colours coming in. Getting in a bit of a muddle with all my different brushes and things. Let's get some to be careful that I don't... No, I just can't use this on this paper. That's interesting. What was I thinking? I was thinking about something that I can't remember what I was thinking. It's probably a good idea. Far too dark. Get some white in there. Far too white. There we go. That's feeling a bit better. I think I need some... I'm just going to zhuzh it around. I like that word. Let's just zhuzh it around. Let's get some kind of bluey green going on here, and the reason for that is I want the sense of water, maybe, in the foreground, like that. I like this sort of line in the distance we've got. Now I've got to tackle this somehow, and I don't usually like fussing around with making things right, but I do like that mark. I probably should just ignore it and just I'll paint round it, and that'll be that. And I am being actually, look, see, I haven't made it better. There, that's a lesson for us all, isn't it? Don't fuss. You'll make it better anyway, or you'll lose it, one or the other. Life's too short. There we go. There we go. So just a few random marks, and I think I'll just draw in. I want something dark there, and I can't seem to get it. So that's just, let's see what happens. That's better, that's better. A little bit of dark there. Haven't gone up to the edges with that. I like that element there. Let's get a slightly different grey going in here. You get lots and lots of different colours in the sky, so it's nice to fill around with lots of different greys, and I don't want blobs of colour though. As I've got there. Oh, I like what's going on there. Got a vertical line going on there. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I quite like that, you know. It's difficult to tell what's going on completely because we've got this yellow tape round. But that line there is kind of annoying me, so I'm going to get rid of it. Put a little bit of, and as you can see, I use my brush in all sorts of ways. I don't just use it, you know, just use different parts of it to get a different feel. And the marks are just, you know, I'm not really drawing anything, I'm just drawing marks. There, that's made that better. There's that line there, I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. And I've got two weird lines here that I'm not entirely happy with, so let's sort of just draw those like that. And then just a few extra bits, just a few. Just to add a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to leave this now. I'm not going to do much more anymore because I think I will spoil it. Just take some of these little, there's always something, isn't there? Always something. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this tape off and hope that it doesn't ruin the paper. Sometimes it does. I don't know if you find that, but sometimes it does. It's just finding the right tape. But we'll have the final reveal of the painting, and it's like framing it. So if you could do this with a mount around your final painting, but it just finishes it off so much. And it's sorry about that. That was Beans. Get me the fright of my life. Somebody at the front door. Where were we? So I've taken off Beans. Beans is my dog. He's a Cocker Spaniel. He's only young. He's just burst back into my studio. Thanks for that, Beans. But he's very protective of the house. Anyway, let's take this one off. So far, so good. This is cool. Oh, I'm out of breath now. There we go. Oops. And look, we've got a finished painting with 2 primaries, blue and yellow, and black and white. And it would be nice to see some red in it, wouldn't it? But it's not essential. And I did choose quite a darkish coloured yellow. But you can choose any colours. You could paint a landscape in all the wrong colours and see what it looks like. It would be fantastic to try that. So why not have a go? If you like this video and you like this channel, do subscribe or leave a comment or tick the like, because it's all great feedback for me. And if you've got any questions you want to ask me, I'm more than happy to answer them in the comments. See you again. Beans. You're quiet now, aren't you?